All right, so you've taken the copywriting character quiz and you've tested as the rebel. Congrats, and I'm excited to tell you about what this means, how you can leverage your natural strengths as the rebel in your copy, and how you can start to hand over your content to your team so that you can get out of all that content creation and get back to doing what you love best. However, before we jump in, I want to give just a little caveat here, which is that rebels go against the grain. That is what they do. It's in the name. And so some of the things that are in this results packet that you've received may not sound exactly like you. And that's because you're really hard to put into a box. This is a great thing. So what I want to encourage you to do is go ahead and take the quiz another time. You probably are the rebel as your primary copywriting character, but just to start giving your copywriting character a bit more nuance and personality, you can give them a secondary copywriting character. And this is going to help you really flesh out that rebel voice. You may be a rebellious architect or a rebellious artist, a rebellious scholar, or maybe a rebellious nurturer. Any of those are possible, and this will help your team get that nuance in place so that they can really start to sound more like you and leverage all of the strengths that you bring to the table. Okay, so let's dive into what it means to be a rebel. So you are somebody who goes against the grain. You are innovative, you have great ideas. Where somebody says, this is a one-size-fits-all strategy, you go, you haven't met me yet. Right? So you're the rebel, and that means that you not only express that yourself, but that you want to encourage that in your audience as well. You encourage them to go against the grain. You help them think about problems in a different way. You help them reframe the questions that they have and reframe those assumptions that they have too. So you're visible, you are out there, you have things that you agree with, you have things that you disagree with, and people know it. So I want to encourage you to really lean into those strengths, because this is part of what makes you you. It's what makes people attracted to you. And it's really a lot of what you bring to the table and part of your expertise. It's really just the different way that you think about things and the way that you question norms. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about a pitfall that some rebels can fall into. And that pitfall is that they feel like they have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Authenticity is a huge value for most rebels because they really want to march to the beat of their own drum. And yet, that means that sometimes they're stuck creating something that already exists or is already working. So just bear this in mind every time that you look at your content and you're tempted to just kind of ball it up and throw it into the garbage. Think, okay, is there a way that I can use this? Do I have to actually go back to the drawing board at this point and create something new? Chances are you can probably salvage some of this, or maybe even just reorder it a little bit. And just bear that in mind as you go through your content. So the other thing that I want to encourage you to do is take a look at that packet that you received with your results in it and see, does it really resonate for you? The way that we gave some words that are potentially in your word bank, and the way that we described the way that you communicate and talk. Short, snappy sentences, asides, maybe some colorful language. Any of that feels resonant for you, pass it on to your team. This is going to help them go ahead and start to feel like they have permission to sort of step out of that professional speak voice and really start to get into your voice and really honor the rebel that you are. So congrats. You bring a lot to the table as a rebel. You really help people think about the world in a different way. And you're really actively reshaping the way that society looks at problems and the way that your field addresses problems. People need you. You do important work. And so don't be afraid to lean into your strengths. Thanks so much for listening.